Fox 61 breaking news now.
Now at 6, we're continuing to follow breaking news in Torrington as crews are working to contain a brush fire at Burr Pond State Park. Thank you so much for joining us on Fox 61. I'm Annette Montgomery.
I'm Sarah Sanchez. The park had to be evacuated as emergency crews from several departments are now trying to get that situation under control. Fox 61's Jamel Johnson's live in Torrington, where the scene is still very active tonight. Jamel, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Sarah and Annette, Burr Pond Park is still closed right now, but Burr Mountain Road has recently been opened by state officials. In the last hour, we've been able to get a little bit closer to the park right now, standing in front of Burr Pond. I'm going to step out of frame so you can see a little bit of the area. You really can't even tell there was a fire. You can't tell anything from where we're standing right now, but the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection said this fire actually spread to around 8 to 9 acres. I spoke with a worker who was regulating traffic at the entrance to the park, and he said that he was told the fire was on the other side of the park, which makes sense as to why us over here kind of at the front of the park can't really see much of what's going on. Now, the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection said around 1 p.m. is when park goers heard an explosion and then started seeing smoke shortly after in the woods under some power lines. Then the park and the trails were then evacuated. Like I said, the fire spread to around 8 to 9 acres right now. It's been partially contained. That's what we're hearing from DEP. There are 2 entrances to the park, and the entrance is where most of those vehicles were coming in. There were several fire departments here, Torrington, Harwinton, and Winstead, and as well as Rivertown, where we actually spoke with the fire chief of the volunteer fire department over there, and he talked a little bit about why right now is so dangerous for brush fires.
Well, our tanker was here earlier on standby. So by the time I got here, we had already been released. I just wanted to see if from here if I could observe the fire. And pretty typically this time of year, the fire danger is really high because the trees don't have leaves on them yet. So everything on the forest floor is just getting beat on by the sun all day, and it gets dried right out. So you have dry fuels mixed with, we haven't had a ton of rain, so everything dries out. And then today it's particularly windy as well, so that can really feed a fire and cause it to be fast moving.
Now, we still don't know what caused that explosion earlier, but Eversource crews believe that it had something to do with the power line. So we'll keep you updated on Fox61.com and Fox 61 Plus. But for now, in Torrington, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
Thank you so much, Jamel. And let's turn to weather now, as we are in a weather impact alert because we are in for some strong storms tonight, especially for Litchfield County, where we just saw Jamel.
Yeah, that's not great, Sam.
That's right. And, you know, I do have a little bit of good news. I have a gut feeling that a lot of those severe thunderstorms will fall apart by the time I get here by 8:30, 9 o'clock. I can't rule it out that it could survive. But part of the reason with this fire issue is we haven't had much in the way of real rainfall. It's been dry as a bone, and we haven't had any vegetation to hold the moisture in the atmosphere when we do have a few days or a week or two that's dry. And then you add these wind gusts, and then you have those fire issues. Meanwhile, we are dealing with some strong storms in the north. Let me get to that after I go through the wind speeds. 10 to 23 sustained, and temperatures are still very warm in northern Connecticut, still in the low 80s, but they're dropping like a rock down to 60 Groton Lynn and 64 New Haven, 68 Bridgeport. Dew points are up a little bit, so it's a little bit on the muggy side, but not that bad. We have that severe thunderstorm watch for Litchfield County. So where are the severe thunderstorms? They're not too far away. There they are, just to our north, going through Albany, and now a couple of more severe warnings in southern Vermont and New Hampshire, and this line is moving in our direction. But again, it's moving in an area of much more stable air. I'll talk about that. I'll time it out. Again, I'm expecting a couple of showers to move in around 8 or 9 o'clock, and then it should clear out overnight. Details coming up in a few minutes, guys.
Thank you, Sam. We have some breaking news now in the death of a 12-year-old girl in Enfield.
The Connecticut Department of Children and Families has confirmed to Fox 61 that it is investigating an incident where they say Eve Rogers snuck out of her home a week before her death.
Fox 61's Tim Latow has been following this case closely. He joins us live in studio with these new details. Tim.
And we've received 2 pieces of information just within the last few hours. First, we requested more information from the Enfield Police Department on this case, and the Public Safety Administrator sent us this police report of an incident of a girl shoplifting from a convenience store near Eve Rogers' home. The names and specific addresses in this report have been redacted. Then just a few minutes later, DCF sent us a statement that says 12-year-old Eve Rogers walked to a nearby store. We want to be clear that Rogers is not named in the redacted police report, but many of the details in the timeline match DCF's statement. I want to read you part of DCF's statement. It says, quote, "We can confirm that in March 2026, the agency received a report that Eve had left her home in the early morning hours without the knowledge or permission of her family to walk to a nearby store. The department had been investigating these allegations for approximately 1 week prior to Eve's untimely death," end quote. Meanwhile, Enfield police say in their report, just after 2:30 a.m. on March 11th, an officer responded to the mobile gas station at 100 Elm Street for a report of shoplifting. The officer found the girl on Elm Street a half mile from her home walking in the wrong direction. She had an energy drink that cost $4. The officer asked the girl if she knew why he stopped to talk to her. She said it was because she stole the drink. He also asked her why she was out at such a late hour, and she said she just wanted to have fun. The officer paid for the drink and gave the girl a ride home. The door to the house was left open. The girl went to get her mother. The officer said the mother appeared surprised and confused. She said her daughter had never done anything like this before or snuck out of the residence and was in shock. The mother also said her daughter has a cognitive impairment. No criminal charges were pursued. The officer said he contacted DCF. Again, there was no specific mention of Rogers or her address in this police report, though the timeline matches the one provided by DCF. Yesterday, police sent us unsealed search warrants that revealed Rogers' mother said she was not aware of Rogers sneaking out, but in those warrants, police say Rogers' mother was aware she was having online sexual conversations through the chatting app Discord in video game Roblox. Still more layers in this case. Live in studio, Tim Lateau, Fox 61.
Well, we're proud to be a welcoming city and to welcome immigrants. If people want to be a productive part of our community, we welcome people, period.
Yesterday, the U.S. Department of Justice filed a lawsuit against the state of Connecticut, Governor Ed Lamont, Attorney General William Tong in the city of New Haven, and Mayor Justin Elicker over sanctuary policies. The lawsuit claims he's saying sanctuary policies are endangering people in the city. Fox 61's Alicia Hercules is in New Haven breaking down the lawsuit, what the city's mayor has to say.
That lawsuit alleges that the current policies in the state and the city of New Haven interferes with the federal government enforcing immigration laws. New Haven's Mayor Justin Elicker says this is simply false.
These alleged violations of federal law, which are just blankly untrue.
Mayor Justin Elicker says the lawsuit misrepresents the city's immigration policies.
The complaint that's been submitted by the federal government has untruths in it and is misleading. There's actually quotes of the executive order that have ... where they don't finish the sentence, and the last part of the sentence in the executive order actually clarifies the beginning part.
When Mayor Elicker was first elected in 2020, he signed an executive order which prevents law enforcement from asking the immigration status of anyone they're working with. The Department of Justice says executive orders like this, as well as the state's Trust Act, which limits local and state law enforcement from cooperating with ICE, interferes with the federal government enforcing immigration laws. They also said, quote, not only are the policies illegal under federal law, but as alleged in the complaint, they have allowed dangerous criminals to be released into Connecticut communities. In response to the lawsuit, Attorney General William Tong called it a shame the president and the Department of Justice are not focused on public safety, but are, quote, wasting federal resources on attacking Connecticut with a baseless lawsuit that has no foundation in law or fact. Attorney General Tong also denies that Connecticut is a sanctuary state. Mayor Elicker says the city of New Haven and its employees have done nothing to obstruct the federal government from enforcing immigration laws.
Our employees are abiding by both city, state, and federal law with the executive order that we have, and we'll continue to do that.
Mayor Elicker says they will fight this lawsuit with everything they have, and he's very confident that they're on the right side of the law. In New Haven, Alicia Hercules, Fox 61.
Seymour's former police union president resigned today after being accused of stealing thousands of dollars from the union's bank accounts. Justin Quilty turned himself into state police yesterday on a larceny charge. He's been on administrative leave since October when the union first noticed some dues were unpaid and started investigating. According to the arrest warrant, Quilty withdrew over $32,000 from those accounts over a 10-month span, using a debit card he was not supposed to have. The warrant said he funneled much of that money into his personal accounts and in some cases a DraftKings sports betting account. Quilty is due in court in 2 weeks.
North Haven police are investigating a deadly crash from late last month. They need your help identifying the vehicle they believe was involved in the crash. Police shared these photos with us. The only information they're giving us is that someone died from a March 27th crash that happened near 128 Washington Avenue. Although the pictures aren't the best quality, they say even the smallest detail could be critical in their investigation. Police are looking for the driver of this car, or at least the license plate number. An arrest warrant reveals the Waterbury man who stabbed his mother told police voices told him to kill her. Police say Noel Sepulveda admitted to using a kitchen knife to kill his mother, Anasilia. They say he told them the voices also told him to kill himself by overdosing on drugs. Police say they lived together at an elderly living facility. Police say the apartment door was blocked by chairs and boxes when someone eventually did find them. Sepulveda was arrested on murder and drug charges.
New at 6, New Haven is taking legal action against a landlord who owns 21 properties across the city with more than 100 housing units. Mayor Justin Elicker announced the city has revoked the rental license of Jin Chao Shu because he said the city has found what he called a shocking number of building and housing code violations. Now, there have been 18 fires at Shu's locations in the last decade, and one of them was deadly. The New Haven Building Department said it found more than 50 violations in just 1 week, including illegally turning the gas back on at a property where there had recently been a fire.
It's not just irresponsible, some of these actions are illegal. Dr. Shu's negligence and disregard for his tenants and our laws put our residents and their property and their lives at risk. Enough is enough.
Now, Shu has 30 days to satisfy city requirements and resolve any violations, or he'll risk fines and penalties of up to $2,000 per day per property. He is expected back in court on April 21st.